My name is Victoria Climbie and this is my story. On the 2nd of November 1991 I was born. I was born in Abobo in the Ivory Coast in Africa. My mummy and daddy had 5 other children when I was born and I had 2 more babies when I was a little bit older. My mummy always used to tell me how pretty I was. My daddy would always say that my smile lit up any room I was in. I was always smiling. Always. On October 1998, my great aunt Marie-Thérèse Qual came from France to visit. She told my mummy and daddy that she was willing to take one of their 7 children back to France with her so they could get a better education, live a better life with more opportunities. They chose me. I was so excited. Little did I know my nightmare was about to begin. I wasn't my great auntie's first choice, but I was still so excited. A new home, a new school, new clothes, a new bedroom. I felt like the luckiest girl in the world. I was referred to as Anna from this day on, as my auntie had a passport made for another little girl called Anna, who she did originally want to take, but Anna's mummy and daddy said no. But my mummy and daddy were so grateful of this proposal. I was about to start a new life, a better life, a life filled with more amazing opportunities. Well, that's what we thought. I was told to call my auntie mummy from this day on. I didn't really understand why because I already had a mummy, but I was happy to do whatever she said. If she was all so nice to me, letting me come to stay with her, it was the least I could do. I was lucky as I now had 2 mummies, my old mummy and my new mummy. I travelled halfway across the world to go to Paris. I was so happy. I was so excited. I was smiling. Within the first month of my school, I was absent a lot. My new mummy shaved all my hair off and made me wear a wig. She did this to hide something that she did to me, but I'm not allowed to tell you what. Shh. I promised my new mummy I would not tell anybody. I was at my new school 4 months when me and mummy left to go to London. I hardly saw my school friends and teachers as mummy would never let me go to school. Dear teachers, why didn't you notice? Why didn't you care? Why wasn't you there? I needed help. When we got to London, we stayed in a hostel. Mummy took me to meet a distant relative called Esther. I liked Esther. Esther was nice to me. Esther noticed I was frail, I was tired, I was small, but she didn't do anything. Esther took off my wig and noticed what I was hiding underneath it. Mummy told her I had an accident with some hot water. I knew the truth. Mummy knew the truth, but Esther believed the lie.
And I found it very peculiar. And we took the wig off, in fact, and there were little blisters on the head. And he said the child had some either hot water accident or something. So, that's it. The child was quite happy wearing the wig. When he took it off, he just put it back on.
I was still smiling. I went to meetings with Mummy, at least 10. Mummy was trying to get us a new home. Each time I went, the adults at the meeting all looked at me. They noticed how dirty I was, how badly dressed I was, but they didn't do anything. Dear people that worked in the offices, why didn't you notice? Why didn't you care? Why wasn't you there? I needed help. In June, Mummy got a job at the hospital. I was left. I was left all alone, at home by myself. I was still smiling. After a few weeks, Mummy got Priscilla to look after me when she was at work. I liked Priscilla. Me and her brother would dance and sing and play games. I was so happy when I was there. Priscilla noticed the cuts and marks on my hands, but Mummy lied and said that I was playing with blades at home. I knew the truth, Mummy knew the truth, but Priscilla believed the lie. Dear Priscilla, why didn't you notice? Why didn't you care? Why wasn't you there? I needed your help. I was still smiling. 6 weeks after Mummy took me to meet Esther, we saw Esther in the street. I thought this would be my chance. Surely she would notice. I hoped that she would see the pain I was hiding behind my mask, behind my smile. Esther noticed my cheek, a scar, but again Mummy lied. How could Esther fall for this? Esther, please look at me, notice me, help me. Esther did notice me, and she rang social services the day after I saw her. Even though Esther told them everything, the lady didn't rush. She wasn't that concerned, and no referral was put in place that day. Was my life not important enough to you? 3 weeks later, still nothing. 3 weeks later, I was finally put into the system. Dear social services, why didn't you notice the urgency? Why didn't you care? Why wasn't you there? You let me down. In June, while we was catching a bus, Mummy met Carl Manning. My nightmare of a life I was hiding from everyone was about to get 10 times worse. But I was still smiling. Me and Mummy moved in with Carl 3 weeks after we met him on the 6th of July 1999. We had a bed for him and Mummy, and I had a sofa bed in another room. 2 weeks later, 2 social workers went to the hostel to see me and Mummy. This could have been my chance to save my life, but it was too late. Me and Mummy had already moved from the hostel in with Carl. Dear social services, why did you give up? Why didn't you care? Why wasn't you there? I needed help. Carl made it clear that he didn't like me. I hate her. Can we get rid of her? I don't want her living here. One night, Mummy packed up a few of my things and took me to Priscilla's house as she no longer wanted me. What had I done wrong? I just wanted to be loved. Priscilla didn't want me. She agreed to have me for the night and then wanted Mummy to take me back. Priscilla, please notice me. Notice my pain. Notice my need for help. Priscilla noticed my cuts, my wounds, my pain. She noticed the burn on my cheek, the cut over my eye, and the wounds that covered each and every part of my body. She also noticed I was still smiling.
Your hat off. She took the hat off, and then we saw these injuries. The injuries, some of them were fresh. So she was recently beaten. There was a cut over her right eye. There was a healing burn on her right cheek. It was horrific to see that. And out of all this girl was smiling.
The next morning they took me to hospital, Priscilla and her daughter. Was this my chance? Would somebody notice me? They spent 2 whole hours examining my body as it was extremely suspicious and reported me to social services. Finally, my chance to be saved. Somebody had noticed. They saw my scars, burns, cuts and bruises my clothes was hiding all this time. They saw the endless amount of cigarette burns on my thighs and the whole mark and bruise across the whole length of my back. But yet when Mummy came and told them that it was self-inflicted as I had scabies and would scratch at the rashes, they believed her and I was diagnosed with scabies. How could you be so naive? How could you not notice? They removed their request from social services. I was let down again. On the 15th of July 1999, I was sent back into the care of my abuser. During this time in July, Mummy started taking me with her to a new friend's house, Julian and Chantel. They heard Mummy shouting at me. They saw the way they spoke to me and pushed me. She showed me no affection, but yet they still didn't do anything. Why wouldn't anybody help me? Look at me, I am in desperate need of your help. Somebody help me. Dear Julian and Chantel, why didn't you notice? Why didn't you care? Why wasn't you there? You let me down. I needed your help. 9 days after I was last in hospital, Mummy took me back. One night when I was sat on my bed, Mummy and Carl grabbed me. They pulled me towards the bath. They pushed my head over the bath. Carl sat gripping my head so I couldn't move, and that's when I felt it. The scalding water running straight onto my scalp and face. What did I do wrong? Why did they want to hurt me so much? I just wanted to be loved. I wanted to be hugged. I wanted to be told how pretty I was like my old Mummy did. My head was in agonising pain. My whole face went numb. Back in the hospital, Mummy told them that I did this to myself. My face and head was covered in burns. I was still smiling. The nurses at the hospital told me I was a little ray of sunshine. They told me I was pretty. I liked that. When Mummy came to visit, I didn't like that. I would go quiet. I was that scared I sometimes wet myself. Why didn't the nurses notice? I could have been saved. All of these signs was overlooked. My cuts, my bruises, burns, blisters, everything was overlooked. Dear nurses, why didn't you notice? Why didn't you care? Why wasn't you there? I needed your help. Mummy took me home. I wanted to stay at the hospital, but I was given no choice. A social worker named Lisa came to the house to ask Mummy and Carl about me. They told her I was a happy child, a loved child, and was developing well. This was all lies. Lisa believed them. Why did Lisa not speak to me? I could have asked for help. This could have been my chance. Dear Lisa, why didn't you notice? Why didn't you care? Why wasn't you there? I needed your help. Mummy did not like it when people come to the house, so Mummy stopped taking me out of the house and nobody could see my injuries or my pain. I was no longer taken to hospital anymore for my injuries, which meant I was in constant pain and I never got better. I was slowly dying. The only place Mummy took me was to churches. She told all of the different church pastors that I was possessed by the devil. That was not true, but they all saw my injuries and believed her, apart from one who didn't believe her. I told him that Satan had told me to burn myself. He didn't believe me. He thought it was down to abuse, yet he still did nothing. Dear pastors of all the different churches I was taken to, why didn't you notice? Why didn't you care? Why wasn't you there? I needed your help. From here, the abuse at home got worse and worse. I was hit with many different weapons. Bike chains was thrown at me. I had cigarette burns all over my body, bruises covering every limb. Mummy hit my feet with a hammer. I could hear the bones in my feet breaking. My feet had turned purple because of all the bruising. When would it stop? I didn't cry because I knew Mummy would hit me even more. I had to stay strong. I was still smiling. I started to lose control of when I needed to go to the toilet because the abuse and pain got so bad, which meant I wet the bed a lot. Mummy threw my bed out because of the smell and she didn't buy me a new one. She made me sleep in the bathtub, wrapped in a bin bag. Because of my incontinence, I would wet myself and it would stay in the bin bag for weeks. It was cold, it smelled, but I had no choice. My arms and legs were tied up with big black tape so I couldn't get out. The bathroom did not have a heater and it did not have a light. Mummy forgot to feed me for days. I would lie there in the bathtub with my arms and legs tied, laying in my own feces and urine, starving hungry. When Mummy did feed me, my arms was not untied, so I was made to eat my food like a dog, pushing my face into the plate. The social worker, Lisa, tried to text and ring Mummy, but there was no answer. She came to the house. I could hear her knocking, but I was in the bathroom tied up. I couldn't do anything, so Lisa went away. She gave up. Lisa then sent a letter to Mummy saying if she did not contact her, then my case would be closed. She gave up on me. Was my life not important to her? Mummy did not contact her, so on the 25th of February 2000, my case was closed, but it was already too late. On the 24th of February 2000, Mummy took me again to church. She was told to take me straight to hospital because I was dying. I was deformed, malnourished, bruised and hurting. I kept falling asleep and waking up again in the taxi. I could not feel my body. I was shaking. I was scared. I was dying. The first hospital I was taken to could not deal with me. I was too poorly for them to help me, so I was sent to another hospital. On the way to the other hospital, I kept falling asleep. Every single part of my body was in excruciating pain. I just wanted to die. The doctors did not know what injury to treat first. I had 128 different injuries. My temperature was so low that it was not even measurable. At 3:15 p.m. on the 25th of February 2000, I stopped smiling. I lost my battle and I went to a better place. Heaven. Nobody hurts me here. I like it here. Dear Mummy, why? Why did you do this to me? What did I do wrong? I loved you. I just wanted you to love me too. I was failed by services, by the lack of multi-agency working and professional curiosity. I could have been saved. Every day, 5 children die because of abuse like me. Every 10 seconds, a report of child abuse is made. Many children have been abused do not tell anyone because they are worried about the consequences. But we need to let children know that we can have a voice, we can ask for help. Maybe if I asked for help, I wouldn't now be in heaven. For most parents, their children are loved and cherished, but sadly enough, some children are not so fortunate. Some children's lives are dreadfully different, and instead of warmth and security of normal family life, these children's lives are filled with risk, fear and danger. I was one of these children. It is the role and responsibility of any early years practitioner to ensure that the children like me are safe and free from any form of harm by being involved in the safeguarding children's processes. Those who take on the work of protecting children at risk of deliberate harm face tough and challenging tasks. However, despite the struggles, all professionals involved with a child's health and welfare must work together as part of a multi-agency network, allowing for effective interdisciplinary work, allowing full safeguarding of children. They didn't do this for me. The multi-agency approach failed me. It is deeply disturbing that while I was being abused, I came into contact with 2 housing authorities, 4 social services departments, 2 child protection teams in the Metropolitan Police Service, a specialist centre managed by the NSPCC, as well as being admitted to 2 different hospitals, yet I was still not noticed. Due to all the services that was supposed to work together to protect me didn't, I lost my smile, I lost my life. If services took more responsibility for my health and safety, may have still been here today. The fact we live in a reactive society and everybody wants to help when it is too late is no good for children like me. Maybe if I lived in a reactive society, I wouldn't be where I am today. There was a lack of professional curiosity, a lack of effective communication, a lack of accountability. They showed no consistency between agencies, not following the correct protocol, and the agencies did not share the same standards. Due to a lack of professional curiosity and effective communication between professionals and agencies, my health and well-being was not protected, which eventually led to my death. This could have been prevented. If services had reported their concerns and communicated with each other to a higher standard, maybe I would not have gone unnoticed, unheard and unloved. Professionals must use their professional skills and knowledge to help protect children like me. In 1989, the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child, UNCRC, was introduced to ensure the protection of children's rights. However, the government did not do this for me. I had no rights, I had no voice, and my rights were certainly not protected. I was not protected from violence as stated by Article 19, I did not have adequate standard of living as stated by Article 27, and my right to education as stated by Article 28 was not provided. I was not given a voice. Maybe if I was given, I could have asked for help. I was often absent from school, yet local authorities did not follow this up as to why I was absent. The school also did not raise any concerns as to why I was not attending. Was this because of my EAL? Did they see this as a barrier? However, this should not have been a barrier, and the school should have followed other ways to communicate with me. I had no bed during the end of my life, and I was sleeping in a cold, wet bathtub. This is classed as an inadequate standard of living. Social services should have made more attempts to access my property to look at how I was really living, rather than assuming that my family had moved house. There were 12 key occasions when the relevant services had the opportunity to successfully intervene in my life, however they did not. If these services had raised their professional curiosity and raised their concerns, services could have intervened and removed me from my abusers, which would have provided me with my right to be free from violence again. Even though the UNCRC states the basic rights of a child that should be followed, these rights are not law, meaning it does not need to be strategically followed, creating loopholes in the system and children like me falling through the net. I was also failed by the Children's Act 1989. The Children's Act 1989 brought together services and explained the strong need for services and parents to work together to safeguard children. The NSPCC states that without effective multi-agency working, safeguarding cannot be effective. It certainly was not effective for me. There was a lack of parental partnership, a lack of communication between agencies. Because I moved house numerous times, I was not known to services because each area has a different local authority system and no information about me was passed. Due to there being no central recording system, nobody knew I was in danger when I moved. The Children's Act 1989 creates many issues for children like me. Due to practitioners' lack of knowledge and skills around the signs and symptoms of abuse and the failure to recognise significant harm and report this, many children, including me, are still being missed. EAL children are still also being missed due to practitioners' poor understanding of EAL. Because children are still being failed by the multi-agency approach, this act is not working effectively in practice. By me being killed by the multi-agency approach, this has made huge differences in the safeguarding practice that we have today. I am glad that by my life ending, I have been able to help other children keep theirs. I am essentially their hero. The inquiry of Lord Layman was responded to by a range of measures to inform and improve children's care. However, did the government actually want to protect children like me, or did they just create new policies to look like they was being proactive to Layman's inquiry? In 2003, Every Child Matters was published. The policy aims to ensure that every child has the chance to fulfil their potential by increasing the focus on supporting families and carers, improving parental partnership with services, early intervention and effective protection, ensuring children receive services on the first onset of problems, and to prevent any children from slipping through the net, and also ensuring effective child protection procedures are kept in place. Despite these strategies, clearly this was not enough, as many more children slipped through the net and joined me in heaven. Baby P died in 2007 and Poppy died in 2013, both due to abuse and neglect. This shows that even though Every Child Matters did make positive changes in the training provided to professionals and in highlighting the importance of partnership working, this was still not enough. Every Child Matters is now outdated, but the principles should still be shown within the early years settings. Every child should be given a chance to fulfil their potential, and every child, regardless of age, sex and religion, matters. In 2004, the Children's Act 2004 was introduced. However, it didn't really tell us anything that we didn't already know. It just said that local authorities had to take a more privative role. Because Layman's report was so damaging to the government, they had to bring out something, otherwise they would have lost the people's vote. So it said that this act may have just been introduced to make the government be active and making them look like they was doing everything they could to protect children. This act, however, did create a post for the Children's Commissioner, but this means when something happens, they are the first ones to get the blame. For example, Sharon Shoesmith was blamed for the death of baby P, and her family's safety was at major risk. Having one person in charge of children's health and safety is not a multi-agency approach, as everyone who has contact with that child should be held some of their responsibility. The Childcare Act 2006 underpins Early Years Foundation Stage (EYFS) and was introduced to help protect EYFS children. This involved local authorities working together to help protect children as well as ensuring children's services were integrated and available to families, for example Sure Start centres. Under this Act, Ofsted could measure practice and prosecute if the services were not providing a good enough service to children. This helped to protect children because if the EYFS setting did not have the correct safeguarding procedures in place, there would be consequences, meaning settings showed better safeguarding practice. Maybe if this legislation was introduced before I was born, practitioners within my school would have known how to recognise my need for help and how to get me the help that I needed. Despite the Children's Act 2004 and the Childcare Act 2006, which was introduced after the Lord Layman inquiry, children are still falling through the safeguarding net, as more serious case reviews such as Daniel Pelker, who died in 2012, have happened, meaning their legislations were not successful in protecting children's practice. We seem to have robust strategies in place, however, when in practice it is not working, as there are still to this day serious case reviews. Policymakers are making policy despite not being educators and having no experience within early years. Therefore, how do they know how we should be protecting children in schools despite never stepping foot in a classroom? Policymakers also only take research from sources that they want to take research from, which will cost them less money and what fits with the government's agenda. I hope by telling everyone my story that more children's lives can be saved. All early years educators should be trained on how to spot children like me and report it under the Working Together to Safeguard Children Act. This means that these children can get help before it is too late. EYFS practitioners have a duty to report any concerns immediately to the safeguarding officer and have up-to-date training on new policies and legislation, and also have the duty to follow all procedures. Government initiatives, legislation and policies have been introduced both before I was born, after I was born, before I died and after I was died to help children like me, but children are still being failed by the multi-agency approach. None of the professionals in my story showed any element of professional curiosity, and none of their professional skills, morals, beliefs linked or met the ethos of the legislation out there, meaning I was not reported. Due to being underfunded and inadequately and poorly led, the multi-agency approach failed to protect me. Due to more initiatives and policies being in place to help with the barriers of safeguarding children, more children are starting to be noticed and protected. However, we can say that the government policies and initiatives have not been fully successful, as like I mentioned, we still have serious case reviews to this day. Please, if you think a child is at danger, report it. It could save their life.